just wanna know. We're gonna talk about Clefbaum too, right?
Yes.
Oh, we good.
Oh, now I'm
It's
switching
live.
screens.
Oh God, I'm hideous.
We always hideous. It's okay. Hey, look, we can see both of us at once.
Yeah.
All right. So, do you want to go actual into the podcast instead of stand yourself?
Yeah. Put it on full screen, and hopefully people show up in the thread. Regardless, hi everyone. We're back. We're big ish people, and we're better than ever. It's the podcast group, our Oilers, bunch of people that met on our Edmonton Oilers, and basically, my name is Arunatic5,
I'm Sweet44722.
and basically, we'll be going over, I guess, the last month or 2 months of content, just primarily what happened the last 2 weeks.
It's been a while since we've done one of these, I guess, because
Yeah.
primarily, I guess you're back in school.
Okay. I'm gonna do this right now as a favor for everyone to see. Okay, there was a comment that was put on our last one that we were a little robotic, so I'm just gonna keep this as natural as possible. Sweet, do us a favor. I need you to take off the hat.
Oh no, I'm not.
Do
I
it.
hate you so much.
It's hilarious.
It's bad. I need a haircut. I need a haircut.
Oh my
Okay,
god.
this is supposed to be hockey. It's not my hairs. I don't need comments. I'm going for a haircut this week at some point. Eventually, once I stop writing papers.
Okay, we're gonna start a charity campaign soon enough to convince Adam to keep his hair the
Get
way
Adam
it
a
is.
haircut. I know
Not to give
we're
Adam a haircut.
well. I guess we should mention that we're probably doing November. It's a little early at this point, but I guess we're gonna do something for November.
Oh yeah, I'm undecided for that because I don't know, mustaches don't work for me, but I
Oh,
will
I'm gonna
still
grow the
keep it.
dirtiest mustache ever. It's gonna
Ugh.
be so bad.
Regardless, we have a podcast. So for now, we're planning something like just like discussing the changes that were planned for the podcast. We'll be coming to iTunes soon.
Oh God, please yes.
Adam is taking care of and setting up an RSS feed. So right now, we've actually completely changed the way that we're doing the podcasts. Like right now, what you're seeing is basically Skype video. Soon enough, what we'll be doing is
Well, three
doing
of us.
everything through an encoding thing and streaming directly to YouTube rather than doing Hangouts on air. Hopefully, there's less lag issues and whatnot. But regardless, I've got a new computer and I'll be upgrading my internet soon. And Adam's got a new computer and he's got great internet. So shit's good, yo. Anyway, we'll be reducing the length of the podcast just because we're busy people, and
2/3 of us
that's
are
it, right?
students, and James is in a band, and life's crazy.
Yeah, shit's crazy, yo.
I think
Right to
we
the
might
hey hey.
we might try for a once a week or once to every 1.5 to 2 weeks during the season.
Yeah,
That's where the shorter part comes in. Is better for you guys. You guys get to watch us, and you don't have to spend an hour and a half out of your day listening to us or watching us. And then we get to spend less time worrying about whether or not we're doing the right things. We just gotta prep our topics and then go, and we can do that. The other part is we're still looking for guests. So if you have a webcam and you have a computer that'll actually run, and you want to join us, feel free to send us a message on either Reddit or an email and let us know. And Arun is okay. So yeah, just let us know if you want to be a
I'm
guest.
hideous, dude.
You are. It's okay.
Like it's like you're looking in a mirror, and then you look at the mirror, and you're like, "Holy shit, that's the ugliest son of a bitch I've ever seen in my life." It's gonna back away from the camera here ever so slowly. No, no,
I
come back,
can't hear
come
you
back.
anymore. All right. So moving on from looks, which I think we've established a long time ago, are a little far gone. Let's move into hockey because I
All
think that's
right,
what
the
we know a little
hockey.
better.
Okay, so sweet stuff. First off the bat, we'll talk about rookie camp. So, personally speaking, I wasn't able to catch much of rookie camp just because of scheduling and whatnot, but I know Adam caught a lot of it. Did you want to comment on that?
Yeah. So I apparently have no life because I spent. I think I watched 2/3. I've watched both games, and then the third one was during a lecture, so I didn't get to watch all of it. But I tuned in and saw a bit of the third period and overtime. And what shocked me the most is, well, not shocked me, but what was reassuring that the players who were supposed to be important to the team, Draisaitl, Slepyshev, Yakim or not Yakimov, sorry.
Connor McDavid.
McDavid, well, McDavid obviously,
No.
came up big in the tournament.
Yeah.
Draisaitl played very, very well the entire time. His vision is absolutely unreal. His passing was
Yeah.
incredible. Anton Slapyshev looked very good. He used his size well. He was able to get into in front of the net and played hard. And then there was, of course, Connor McDavid, who only played one game, but he did absolutely fantastic in the one game. He obviously got rocked by Virtanen in the first shift. He got back up and they kept going. There was no issue. I had a bit of an issue with so many people commenting about how it was the worst thing ever they got a hit. And I think a lot of people maybe overreacted at the
That
time
was
because
so
I
stupid.
mean it.
Can I be honest? Like the one thing that's gonna annoy me and annoys me constantly about the Oilers is that our fans at times throw reason out the window.
But I'd say all fan bases do that though.
Yeah, yeah, but like we're like we take a little bit from every single fan base and we become that. Regardless.
Well, what about the teams
Sorry,
without a fan
I'm
base?
gonna stop shitting on our own fans for a moment
Yeah,
here
that's probably
and
not bad.
continue.
So the other big thing I think was obviously Darnell Nurse was really really good in a couple of games, and then the third game he was kind of well he wasn't on the ice. I was gonna say he's invisible, but he wasn't on the ice. What I meant to say is in the Golden Bears game, which we'll talk about later, I found he was invisible, but Darnell Nurse also looked really good. LaLeggia with his really good speed actually surprised me quite a bit too. I was happy with him, but the biggest surprise for me were two big names, and that was Christopher Braden Christopher and Eetu Lorkainen. And Braden
Mm,
Christopher, I hadn't heard of him before. He was drafted last year, I guess. It wasn't really a big name out of the draft, wasn't a big name coming in, and then showed up and put up points. He's only 5'10". I think it was 195 when he was drafted, so he's probably a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger, a little bit heavier now. But he was throwing hits like somebody who was 3 or 4 inches taller. He was playing physical in front of the net. He was putting points in. He was having a fantastic camp, and he signed to an
don't
AHL
worry about that
deal.
for now, Adam. Just keep going.
He was signed to an AHL deal, and I'm really looking forward to see what he can do with the Condors this year. I almost said Barons. That was bad. I don't with the Condors. And
Yeah.
the other big one was Eetu Lorkainen. And Lorkainen came in. He's a smaller goalie. He's only 5'10", and that seems to be the primary reason why he was passed off in the draft. But he had good stats in WHL. He had good stats in the Finnish Elite League, and it's kind of that thing where it's like, was he passed off because he's small, or you don't really know? But he was amazing in the tournament. He was the sole reason why we won. We were still in the game in the third one, let alone against the Jets. We were outshot. He played the full game and played incredible the full time. The underside for me was Ben Betker. He didn't. He was
Mm.
supposed to be this big body presence that was coming in and to give depth to the Condors blue line, and he was not great. He didn't use his size very well. He was slow. His foot speed was off. I don't know if it was because it was the first time they played in a while, but he looked pretty invisible the entire time. And I expect to see more out of him in the future in the Condors and the AHL this year, and hopefully he can bring more because we really need more depth defensemen. But not impressed.
Yeah. I'm gonna comment on that too. And Batker was someone that had somewhat impressed me during the squad like the we had what was that, a rookie camp, like a mini rookie camp kind of thing, or a rookie week or whatnot.
Oh, the orientation camp.
Ah, orientation camp. Yeah, we had that, and Batker was actually impressive for me in like the 3v3 and the 4v4. And then when he came to this one, he just his foot speed looked bad. He was constantly getting uh like even muscled off the puck just by sheer force, and like his reach was really poor. So yeah, I wasn't that impressed by Betker. Honestly, my standout for the rookie camp was even more than McDavid, dare I say it, was Draisaitl. Draisaitl was a constant factor in every single game, and I guess the key reason that this is like a factor is uh oh
Keep talking.
sorry, the is that Draisaitl simply played more games than McDavid did. McDavid played what, 2 games, right? Draisaitl
One.
played
McDavid only played the one.
1 game. No, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then the Golden
The
Bears game.
Golden Bears game. Yeah.
Yeah. And McDavid played, yeah, those 2 games, and then what's his other face's name? Uh,
Slepyshev?
friggin' Drysaddle. Ah,
How
I'm trying to
did
do like 3 things at once.
how
Uh, well, what's up? Drysaddle played all the games, so then like he has an opportunity to get accustomed with the players that he's playing with, to improve his play. On that point, Mitch Moroz, I was not impressed by his play. He was someone that was supposed to be touted to be a future third line or fourth line player, possibly with the potential to become a solid hard hitting second line player, and he was a big goose. Was it rooster egg or chicken's egg or whatever? What's the saying?
Goose?
Goose egg. That's the one. I know my idioms. Yeah, in terms of performance, and yeah, I wasn't impressed. That being said, I generally liked Christopher. What's
Christopher,
it?
Braden
Christopher.
Christopher.
Yeah, Christopher. I liked sort of what Slepyshev did, but I still think that he has a lot of things to work on. And in terms of defense, Nurse impressed me a few games, but Professor Scribbles on Reddit actually commented that he felt that Nurse was really bad in the Bears game. He was trying to do too many things and underestimating the physicality of the Bears. And like the key thing about the Golden Bears that I think that was a good test for the Oilers rookies is that that's not a team of skill. So far in the rookie tournament, they're playing a bunch of teams that are high in skill, right? Because they're the best rookies of each team. This is a team that's built off of good teamwork as well as hitting hard and hitting often. And although that wasn't as much of a key feature in the game, um, Nurse in many different instances got forced off the puck.
Are you
Uh,
do you watch the Golden Bears during school year?
I don't get the full opportunity to. I did watch the CIS
So
finals.
so you know they're a hard hitting team because of one game.
No, they're a harder hitting team. Like when you're playing at that level, like you have to do some other things to compensate for the fact that you're not as like the skill matchup
Well,
isn't
those
there,
guys are all
right?
OHL players. They're about the same level as most of the guys playing the game.
At
Sorry.
Connor McDavid level, yeah,
Okay.
I get you.
No.
I get you.
No.
No, no, no,
No.
no. You're
No.
right.
No.
You're right.
No. No. Don't do that to me. Don't be a dick. Don't be a dick. what it, I'll do the same. I'll stop being a dick.
Okay.
What I was gonna go
Like
off of
literal
actually.
dicks are like going across the room right now. That's what's happening.
Meh. Um. So what I was actually gonna ask
Yeah.
was, do you think that the Golden Bears were a good fit this year against the Oilers? Were they not? Maybe like their speed wasn't up to par.
Based on the history of what I think the Golden Bears are capable of, I felt as though like it was a little bit the rookies were better this year, and a little bit the Golden Bears were a little worse this year.
Fair enough. Actually, I was gonna comment on the Nurse thing, and I actually disagree. I don't think Nurse was bad. I think he was okay.
He
Um,
was okay, but in terms of the fact that his competition that he was playing against wasn't that strong, uh,
that's true. But the thing is as a defenseman, as a defenseman, you're not being seen is sometimes the best part of your game. Like to be on the ice and not stand
okay,
out.
hold on. That first period, he was definitely seen for the wrong
Yes,
reasons. Second
absolutely.
and third period, he sort of settled in.
He was awful for the first, but as a whole, I
Yeah,
don't think he was that bad. But like as a defenseman, as on a night, not every game, but on a night, if you don't show up on the score sheet, or any people don't necessarily notice you on the ice constantly because there's nothing bad happening to you or your line, I think that's a good thing. Um, and eh, and I don't know, it's kind of that thing where it's like Nurse played okay, but I don't think he could have played better. But I thought in the rookie tournament he was really damn good in the rookie tournament. I really honestly thought he was.
yeah, he was really good at the rookie tournament. I gotta agree with that.
So I guess
I think part of it, like if I were to comment on why like he played poorly, I think it's like nerves were starting to get to him for the fact that like he's not sure if he's like where he's starting. Is he gonna start in the regular roster? Is he gonna start in the normal roster? And I felt as though nerves might have been a factor in there.
yeah.
because like there's like thoughts running in the back of your mind, and if that gets in the way of your play, then that's not positive, right?
But it didn't affect your
That being
eyesight.
said, we were talking about Nurse showing up for the wrong reasons in the first period. Lalasia was showing up for all the right reasons as the tournament progressed. In the first
Absolutely.
one, like he took a few bad bounces, like took bad hits and whatnot, and after that, like he just bounced back. And honestly, at the end of it, I feel as though it was really good. Oh, Professor Scribbles has provided on chat. I should reiterate, for a guy everybody's hyping up super hard as Herder, better than all of our D besides Clefbaum, he made a lot of errors. Gave little credence to believe that he should go to the AHL first. I only saw him in one game, and the Golden Bears game was fairly meaningless for him. And I'll tell you guys more after I see the team at training camp tomorrow. But that was a weak start from Darnell, is basically that he's saying, and
No,
I
I
think we would
don't
both agree.
disagree with
Yeah,
that. Yeah, no, it's
yeah.
that's fair. You definitely, and I think Rooney made a good point where he has to be. I think if you're playing against that competition level. He's been playing against those level players, maybe slightly worse depending on because obviously these guys they're older, they're probably stronger than a lot of the guys he was playing with. But you can't get away with doing the same things you can uh, being a forceful player in the OHL or AHL or sorry OHL WHL.
Mm-hmm.
I mean you're playing against 15, 16, 17 year olds. That's mostly 16, 17 year olds that you can when you're playing against university students who have had a couple extra years of strength training.
Counterpoint though. Shit. Who's the guy that won the Rookie of the Year last season?
Goudreau?
Did
No, it
Goudreau win
was
last?
was it no, it wasn't Goudreau. It was
Who's the defenseman for the Panthers, wasn't it?
Ekblad. Ek,
Ekblad.
okay.
Yeah.
Wait, before you start that one,
Okay.
Ekblad was an
Okay.
exceptional player. He's the McDavid of defense for his age group.
That being said, at the time when he was drafted, he was heavily considered that he's being drafted first because he's the most NHL ready, and also because the Panthers need defense. If it was a case where the Panthers didn't need to worry about defense as much and they needed offense more, then it's very likely that he wouldn't have gone first and he would have gone like second or third to the Oilers.
I guess that yeah, it depends on what position, like what team's drafting what. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know. Like you could say that Darnell should be doing more. You could say that um, maybe he did as much as he could have, and maybe he should have. I don't know. I think it could be argued that he should have been much better, but I don't think we could
Mm-hmm.
say that he played to the point where he should be worried. Although I will agree that he should start in the AHL.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with that. I agree with that point.
It doesn't really help with the logjam at
Yeah.
6'7", 5'6'7". Like just
Let's continue on. So I think we've talked about the Young Stars game a lot more, and that's just because like we saw more of that game than we did of the other games, right?
yep, yep, I agree.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
yeah. I was actually gonna ask though before we move on,
Hmm. Hmm.
with McDavid not playing, like going back to the Young Stars tournament, with McDavid only playing the one game, do you think the team obviously caught a lot of flack for that? People are mad that they drove all the way to Penticton, spent the money, then only saw him play the one game or didn't see him at all, depending on when they got there. Do you think that's a fair complaint, or is it kind of a load of crap?
It's a load of crap. As much as hockey is basically a sport for entertainment, where people are watching to enjoy the sport, I would agree. I would argue that it's more a sport where you need a sustainability in terms of the future. Like I'm talking a business side right now. I'm not talking sheerly on like what's good for the team, whether what's bad for the team, but like on the business end, like yeah, you disappointed the Penticton people that showed up and drove up to see McDavid play, but that way, like if he got injured at that tournament, then you would get like a whole bunch of season ticket holders that are unable to watch McDavid play. And in that sense, who paid more money? And who are the Oilers getting more money from, right?
Hmm. I think for me the big problem for me is that the team owes you nothing. If you're gonna go and you're gonna spend the money there, you know what the team
Yeah.
owes you is to be good. The team doesn't
Yeah.
owe you anything other than that. And in order to be good, you
No.
have to have prospect depth. In order to have prospect depth, you have to see what the other players are going to do. We already know what McDavid can do. McDavid's the best player on his age group on the planet right now. We don't have to see anymore. We saw one game. Risking his injury, and then taking time away from players who we do need to see, like allowing Draisaitl, Slepyshev, and Christopher, and I'll say Winquist too, who's another player I forgot to mention that played very well. Uh, Taking time away
Mm-hmm.
from them playing means that we don't get to evaluate them as much, and we got to see them throughout the 3 games, and they were fantastic. And it's that kind
Mm-hmm.
of like I don't really like the mentality where I deserve to see this player because I paid this money. Well, if he's injured, you're not going to see him at all. So, frankly, I it's if you're going to spend the money, you're going to risk not going. Like we're going to
Yeah.
risk not seeing that player. If you buy tickets for a game in Toronto 6 months from now, there might be a chance that that McDavid might not play, but you're still gonna go to the game probably, unless you're that kind of fan. In which case, fine, I guess. But whatever. The other side of it was there are so many good prospects going this year. Even if McDavid wasn't playing, there were still a number of good players to see. Like that's what bothered me the
Yeah.
most. This is probably the most talented prospect team we've had in the last what 5, 6, 7 years. Like I tournament's only been a few years old, but this is probably the best group we've sent yet. Like they're absolutely stacked. It was just I don't know. I didn't understand the
Okay.
complaint.
So I think my internet's lagging a little. So if I'm starting to cut out, just intersect for me, Adam. But yeah, I agree with that. Like out of all the rookies that are there, the only guy that's a guarantee right now to make the roster, is Connor McDavid.
Yeah,
So what's the point of the camp for him
yeah.
other than to warm up, right? Regardless, I think we should just go on to the next point, and look at the start for camp.
Ooh, start for camp. All right. So, what do you want to start with for start for camp?
Start for camp. What do you think about the lines? Like the lines for day one. I don't know about the lines for day two yet.
The
Where
lines.
Hall. Okay.
Yeah, no, no. It was Hall. It was Hall.
McDavid, Purcell.
Yep.
Draisaitl, Lander, Yakupov. Pouliot, Nugent Hopkins, Eberle. Your thoughts?
So I like Pouliot, Nugent Hopkins, and Eberle because that means that McClellan's obviously seen what worked last year and
Mm-hmm.
wants to have a line that he knows can produce if worst comes to worst. So they'll probably be the
At the very least, cycle the puck very effectively.
exactly, and that's the other thing is that they play with each other for at least I think it was about half the season, so they know how each other plays. Like they know how each one plays on the ice. Nugent Hopkins and Eberle are both going to be very, very good this year, I anticipate, and they're probably a good guarantee. McDavid and Hall obviously played together, and putting Purcell with them is that he's a bit of a size factor, and he's a bit of a
Yeah.
veteran, so he can help calm. I guess Hall's a veteran too now, but Purcell does have a bit more defense to his game than Hall does, and so he can help McDavid out in that sense. I would have preferred Yakupov on that line just because I love Yak, and I think they'd be really great together, but at the same time, that line would be terrible defensively, and at least to start, because, I mean, any player starting in the league is not going to be 100% capable of playing as well defensively as they did in the OHL unless they're a defenseman, a star, all star like Ekblad. So
Okay.
that line wouldn't work out defensively. As for was it Draisaitl, Yakupov, and Lander?
Yeah, I don't
I
agree with that line,
I
but yeah.
I don't know. I think Lander. I think that's a solid third line because they're reliable. You can play them and for an offensive punch.
But
But
here's the thing, though: is that a good third line?
I would argue it's a pretty good third line. I mean, if you look at third lines around the league, most teams have if they're gonna have scoring depth, there's 3 lines, but most teams have top 6 solid and then waivers from third to fourth. And
Mm-hmm.
our third line would be a player who should have won the Calder in his rookie season, a player who had a very rough go the first year but has dominated at the lower levels and looks to be even better, and Lander who came out of his shell last year and looks like a player that could absolutely handle
No,
third line duties.
no guarantees on Lander. Oilers do have a
No,
history of having a player that sort of develops in the second half of a season, and then the next season absolutely
he did
disappears.
he did play well for most of the season last year though. It wasn't like the half season. He played fairly well uh,
Yeah, but
under
then again,
Eakins too,
so did
which is
Arcabello.
surprising considering Eakins is Eakins. He played a little bit under Eakins, right? He didn't play too much, if I remember
No, but
correctly.
like so did like Arcabello, if you remember. And Arcabello is now like on the fourth line for the Maple Leafs lineup, and the Maple Leafs lineup is horrible.
Arco was. okay. He wasn't great under Eakins.
Okay, based upon the you're copping out so hard here, Adam. Oh
How am
my
I how
god.
am I copping out? That's a valid argument.
Like every
Everybody was
person
shit under
on our
Eakins, but
Edmonton
Arcobello
Oilers, like
wasn't much
after
better.
Arcobello's really good season, was just going like, "Oh my God, Arcobello's amazing! Like he can be a solid second line center for us. Yeah, he'll work really well with like Gagne or whoever else we were thinking of at the time." And we're like, "Oh my God, we finally have like somebody that can work." And they were talking about basically that someone like at best should have been a third line center, being our second line center.
I think it's
And then he was our second line center and shit crashed and burned.
well, and
So
then he went to Arizona. He was in their first line center for a couple weeks.
weeks.
He was a couple weeks there. Him and Gagne
Weeks.
were first two seasons. Yeah, well, and then he got traded. Remember?
You have to also realize that was a team that ended up lower than we did.
Yeah, but, I mean they didn't draft higher than we did, but
Oh yeah, boy.
um, I don't know. It's just that Lander's obviously up in the air still. This season will be a big test for him again to see if he can stay consistent. But I think the other side of it is they can always shuffle the lines and know that some combination will work.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Worst comes to worst, Hendrick plays center, but I don't think that's really feasible. And
Mm-hmm.
Draisaitl could always play center. And that's the other side of it. Having two centermen on that third line means that if something happens, and the other side of it is injuries too.
Okay.
Injuries are gonna hit, and we've had bad luck with centermen.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
So
Reading out a comment that Professor Scribbles has been commenting on. And again, Professor Scribbles, thank you very much for commenting. We like you a lot. So good job. Dry Lander Yak is the fabled third line scoring line that we haven't had in a very long time. So the guys at Low Tide's blog are all super excited about the possibility. And I don't think Drysaddle or Lander are so invisible defensively
nope.
then that line is any more of a burden than say Hall, CSB, Purcell.
No, I don't think they're a burden in any sense of the word, and they definitely are more capable defensively than, for example, Hall, McDavid, Yakupov line would be. But it's been
Can I make a suggestion for a lines that I think could work? And
yeah
I'm mixing and matching here just
yeah.
based upon uh like pure speculation, right? There's nothing more associated with
Well,
that here.
I mean we don't know
But
the
here's the
team.
question that I want to break up McDavid and Hall, right? So like my idea then is that we have um what's it? Sorry, I'm thinking things through here. We don't have that many good left wingers, do we?
We have
Yeah,
Pouliot, we have
is
Hall,
Yak a left winger or a right
right
winger?
winger.
No, a left
We have
shooter or a right shooter?
Pouliot, and then we have
Draisaitl, basically.
Draisaitl and Korpikoski
Korpakowski.
or
And
Klinkhammer.
Yak is a right winger, right?
Yak is right winger but shoots left, so he could play left side in theory, but he's more comfortable on the right.
And I don't really want to put Draisaitl and McDavid together.
And our
And
right
I
wing
don't
depth
like.
isn't
I
all that.
think the chemistry that works for that Pouliot, Nuge, and Eberle line isn't like Nuge and Eberle. It's Nuge and Pouliot in my
I don't
eyes.
know. I see a lot of plays last year with Eberle and Nuge knew where each other on the ice, and I think that's part of it. They don't
Yeah,
have to exactly be always in sync to be functional.
the key reason that like I'm making suggestions like that is I want to move. I want to see how Everley would do with McDavid. But the only problem then is that I don't want Hall on that line because the problem with Hall and McDavid, I think some of the TSN guys pointed this out, was that when Hall and McDavid are extremely similar in terms of what they're doing, like they want to carry the puck. I'm lagging right now, aren't I?
That's good.
Huh?
Um, I'll jump in and actually make the point that I wanted to, and then just to keep that in mind, we'll jump back to that. Okay, when you eventually cut back in. Uh, so what I was gonna go off of is I don't know. Lovely. All right. So what I was gonna go with is that I don't know if. Oh, okay. We dropped the call. This is what we get for doing this way. All right. Um, try this again. So what the point was I was gonna make actually is that I don't know if Draisaitl and Lander and or Yakupov would be a solid line because, in the sense that if you have if you have a guy who didn't produce at all in his first year in Draisaitl, and then Lander who does produce offensively but isn't necessarily the most guaranteed source of offense, and then Yakupov who's also had his own difficulties. I don't know why is that sitting there, but Yakupov had his own difficulties, albeit under a coach who didn't exactly play him too well.
No.
I don't know if you can guarantee that that third line is going to produce that much scoring. At the same time, we don't know whether or not, obviously we can speculate, heavily speculate with very good evidence that Eakins was a cause of a big issue for Yakupov's scoring, and that Draisaitl was simply inexperienced in the NHL. But I don't know if I'm 100% set that that line will be good. Then again, third line matchups for them will be favorable rather than second line matchups that Draisaitl and has been getting for a long time. And if Yakupov can get actual ice time this year instead of being restricted to 10 minutes, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, then maybe they
Yeah.
can actually produce offense. So I'm excited to see it, but I'm not sold on them yet. I want to wait till camp and
And
preseason.
if there's any coach that's really good at rolling like lines constantly out, it's T Mac.
Yeah, and that's why is what he's known for. Right? He can
Yeah.
yeah. So you were making a point
So
before
quick
you go.
comment, like I was trying to make earlier before my internet cut out on me was that oh, we're barter number 6. So a quick comment that I thought of was that Hall and McDavid are very similar in terms of what they want to do. They want the puck while carrying it through the neutral zone. They want carry it down the neutral zone to like make the pass, make the play, take the shot, take it around the outside and whatnot. So in that sense, I feel as though Hall and McDavid, like there won't be as much chemistry in those two as we're expecting, just because their play is different. I mean, it's too similar, is what I meant to say.
I
What are your thoughts on that?
I disagree because Connor McDavid, the part of what he's known for, besides being absolutely incredible at everything, apparently, because he's McJesus, um, is his playmaking ability. He can score a lot of points, and he can score a lot of goals in a lot of different ways, but he's also known for his playmaking ability. So I think part of it is playing with Hall will really bring out his ability to produce effectively, not produce effectively, but to
Mm-hmm.
to have somebody on his line who can finish. Not to say his line in OHL couldn't, but he'll be really well set with Hall in the sense that they can feed off each other, but him especially can get Hall going if he enters any sort of slump, which he
Okay.
hasn't yet. But
Okay. I guess we'll continue on from there. So there's been a lot of talk about change of culture. Do you think it exists? Do you think that was like necessary? Is it something that just the old hockey people didn't do? Like, what's your
I
thoughts?
think first of all we have to define culture, and I think culture for
Yeah.
me is. I mean, everyone. I think most people agree that it's the way a team plays, but as much for me, I think it's the way the team is on and off the ice, in and out of games. And I think the culture under McDavid or under sorry, jeez, under Eakins was different in the sense that we hear the rumors going on. They lost the ping pong table. The media weren't allowed to eat donuts anymore. Practices were slow and laggy and not at all hard. And he just spent more time on a whiteboard than he did actual drills. And we hear this change with even after the first day of camp with McClellan, where it's the pace is fast. He's yelling. He's top of his lungs. He's pushing him the game day pace. They're doing all the drills as fast as they can. If there's a correction, they do it again and do it right instead of sitting on the whiteboard. And so I think in that sense, yeah, it's a culture change. But culture it seems almost like a buzzword to me that's overused.
Yeah.
But I think there is
Ultimately,
something to it.
if I were to jump in on that, ultimately culture I find isn't necessarily defined just by um like what's going on in terms of like the work ethic, what people are doing, but the people that are there. And essentially, the only people that have been changed is the GM and the coach for this time being, and the coach and the assistant coaches and so on. I get the point.
Yeah. Well, scouts have been. all revamped too.
Yeah, I don't agree with that, but hey.
Well, I
Uh,
mm,
we talked about this one. We
yeah,
don't
we
need
we've been
to
over that
talk any
one.
further.
We'll have to
Yeah,
go.
we've been
What
over this.
that one will be one that we'll have to come back to in maybe 8-10 months because we'll see where they all are and who we're drafting and we'll come back to that one. But for you, culture is more of a buzzword and it's not necessarily what it is, but who's there.
Yeah.
Is it management mostly, is it for you, or for players? Because for me, as I think it's players as much as anything else. We had I feel we had a different culture. I know I'm using the buzzword, but it's culture under Smith and Jason,
See,
the two
I have,
Smiths
I
and
have.
Pronger and Pisani and that was like a blue collar team, and this team's much more of a run and gun offense, score a crap ton of goals, but we have no defense, so that's kind of the way we have to play. But
Mhm.
there was also
Uh,
yeah, I don't know.
One thing that I want to comment on is that I have a feeling that the comment about culture is really just being overstated. It's that fans essentially this is like a classic case of like Oilers optimism, where people were just so frustrated with the way that Eakins was handling things and how things went down in terms of like who stayed, who left, the results that we're seeing in terms of like constant lottery finishes and whatnot. Um, they're just frustrated by the way that Eakins was doing things. And like in that sense, getting a coach that has success and everything, like the moment that you see that like say practices are going better, like rather than it just being going like, oh, practices were harder than they usually are, it's that it's amazing. Like it's automatically an indication that the entire culture has changed. When a lot of reasons that culture changed a lot of kids under assumptions that players and people have. And we're getting into philosophy here, but
So
so we'll,
so you see it
we'll trend
more.
back.
You see
But that
culture
being
more
said,
as
like I really have this feeling that like the culture changing that people are talking about is only like I'd say like 5%. But in actuality, like that's actually what it is. But players and people are thinking it like it's like 50 to 55 to some people even 100% change.
so for you it's more
Is that
that
solid?
it's more the differences perceived and perceived as greater than they are.
Yeah,
Okay, I'd say
that's
more.
basically yeah.
Would you not agree though if we get to October, November, December, January, and players are standing up for each other more? There's seemingly more cohesiveness in the team, that kind of stuff. Would you not see that as a culture change? Because we saw a lot of stuff last season where they would they would run away from scrums. There was Scrivens got smoked by Gletslav and Schultz and everybody was skated away. Nobody handled it. If they start sticking up for each other more, is that not a culture change, or is that more just players, or is that a sign of a team maybe playing better and thus being more interested rather than apathetic?
Um, I mean, it's just a sign that Todd McClellan pushes players really hard in training camp. That's all there is to it. That's all I see in it. Like,
It's you don't see it like I really should turn notifications off next time. Um, so you're not. You don't see so you see it more of as a change of management. I don't know.
yeah,
I'm just trying to understand where you're coming from here. Cause I think I get it, but I see it I think in a fundamentally different way.
I like what I'm really feeling is that like everyone the change of culture and the change of management so much to the point where I have a feeling that like at some point you say the buzzword so many times where you forget like what they even mean anymore. You
But
feel me here? You feel
yeah, I
me?
got you. But if it's different for everybody, I don't know. Because I think that's one of those things that's different for everybody. Culture's kind of
Yeah.
an interesting one. It's a buzzword, but it's a buzzword that people define differently. All right, so I think we
Hmm.
have what one more topic,
I
and
don't
then
know.
we'll cut it.
Regardless,
Let's move on to the last thing.
we'll talk about Clef Bomb
Yep,
stuff.
yep, big news.
Clef Bomb.
So Clef Bomb,
I'm lagging a little hard right now. Just bear with
don't
me.
worry about it. Just keep
You can
going.
take it.
I might drop you again, and I'll just keep going. But so I got a notification on Score. I know there was a post on our Oilers that Clefbaum had signed a 7-year deal. At least on my app had said he signed a 7-year deal extension. Money's a little uncertain, but last week there was rumored it would be just a little over 4 million or somewhere around there AAV. Um, Arun, do you like the deal? Do you like the term? Do you like the money? Do you not
Uh,
like it? What do you think?
I have a sneaking suspicion that there's going to be some kind of movement stuff that's going to be involved just because of the guy that's involved in like handling all of this. That being said, I have a feeling that it's going to be pretty solid, and like I use the word solid, and I don't really want to go anything beyond that because like the only reason in my eyes that it's a really solid move is uh, um, he is good now. In my eyes, he's almost worth the 4 million right now. Even if he doesn't improve for the next 7 years, with the way that the cap and the cap split is working out, even if he never improves and he stays the same defender that he is now, that will be a bargain deal by the time he's in his seventh year.
I don't agree. I think that okay. I should specify. I like the deal. I like the
Yeah.
term. The term is perfect for me because
Mm-hmm.
it brings you into 7 years. McDavid's an RFA, so that he's in
Mm-hmm.
that group with him.
Yeah.
Um, he was a solid defender last year. He proved he's solid in the AHL. He's gonna be one of our premier defensemen. But I
Yeah.
think I'd value him at about 3.4 right now. 3.4 to 3.7. That said, that's obviously very good for defenseman. He's going to be your future top 2 or top 4 defenseman for us. But in order to live up to a 7-year deal, the team is putting a hell of a lot of hope on your future improvement. And at $4 million,
Yeah.
right now, I'd say it's a good deal because if he has to keep improving. But if he improves at all,
Mm-hmm.
then it's a bargain deal. If he stays the same level, I disagree and I say that maybe we overvalued him because if you don't improve to the point where you're signing a 7-year deal, then it's kind of an issue. Over 7 years, if you're not improving as a defenseman and you're only he's 22 right now,
Yeah.
that's kind of a problem because they're putting a lot of faith in you for a long time that you're going to be a good defenseman and then you're not improving.
Mm-hmm.
But as Clefbaum, uh, he's going to improve. He's going to be a stalwart defenseman for us in the future. I think this deal is fantastic, and I can't wait to see him for another 7 years. Looking forward
Yeah,
to it.
yeah. My only concern with Clefbaum is that basically what I see in Clefbaum is right now, anyway, is in essence everything that's like sort of wrong with our team. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No,
In that, like, it's sequences of really good play, followed by sequences of Clefbaum, what are you doing? Oh, it's like a mistake. Why did you turn the puck over? That's the worst possible decision you could make at that
well,
point.
he decides to turn the puck over, but I know,
Yeah, I know.
I know what you mean,
He
but
is
I disagree.
yeah.
I chalk that up to inexperience part of it, but I his errors, at least I think were generally less apparent or less significant than those of Ferentz, Nikitin, Schultz. But those are the
When
guys.
you're running one of the worst defenses in the entire league, that's not a positive
No,
talking
but
point.
then if he was the best defenseman on the worst team in the league, he's still gonna make mistakes because his partners are useless, right? If you
Okay.
have the worst team, if you're the best defenseman on that team, you're still gonna make even your mistakes are gonna seem big because your defense sucks, but you're also not gonna be able to be covered at all by the other guy because you can't trust him with anything.
Point being, he still has a long ways to go
Yes,
before he'll get to that top three
he'll
defender
yeah,
position.
but I mean right now he is there because it yeah our defense.
Fortunately, like I'm seeing like the most positive thing for him that's going to be happening over like the next 4 years is that there's Sakara, and there's a lot of similarities in the way that they play, each of
Sakara
them.
and Nurse will be
Sakara,
one of
I
the two.
feel, can very positively impact um, uh, Clefbaum's lack of a good enough offensive game. Because right now, Clefbaum's biggest problem in my eyes is the fact that, yeah, he makes a few odd mistakes every now and then on defense, but his offense, like, there's a lot that needs to be worked on.
Yeah, I think his shot could definitely improve a little bit, but I wouldn't call him bad in the offensive zone.
All right. There's a good point that Professor Scribbles is making is that to play devil's advocate to Adam, even Ollie did some like quiet plays that made him look better defensively than Ferentz at times. You can't exactly look at Clefbaum being better than Ferentz, like, and then call him like really, really good, right? That being said, 4 million is worth Clefbaum's price, considering that his best season was his last season, but it's still a bit of an overpay for his
Yeah,
average over last season.
yeah, and I think, um, yeah, no, I'd agree. Like we can't actively say that Clefbaum was better than every defenseman intuitively, but for general opinion, his course he was better. You know, I don't want to base it solely on stats because stats needs context, obviously, but his advanced stats were much better. He played better with just about everybody. The only player I'd say that this is kind of where I'm missing Marinson, because Marinson would be perfect in our solution right now, and he'd be able to be in there with the long-term solution. He's gone, and we lost him for nothing, but whatever. That's another time. That's done over and done with. But
Oh, the Journal has started like a CSP finger campaign, like an online campaign.
finger
Hold on.
campaign.
You keep talking about like whatever you want to talk about. I'm just gonna check this out.
Okay.
BRB.
Um, you're still on screen, so don't make any stupid faces. I mean, yeah. Okay. That's
My face is stupid. Huh.
we've devolved a little bit here. This is what we become without James.
A little.
A little bit. I don't know. Clefbaum's kind of an interesting one. I mean, our defense as a whole is that oddity where you can't say anybody's fantastic, but they're all pretty goddamn bad. But the best defenseman of the group was Clefbaum this year, and that's where I'm going with that. I think that the 7-year deal is great. I do absolutely agree that it is an overpayment at the moment, but if he at all grows in the next few years, that'll be worth it. Um, the part of the 7 years too I like is that, I mean, if you think about it, he'll be here for 7 years, assuming all goes well. Sakara will be here for 6 years, assuming all goes well. Nikitin and Ferentz will both be Nikitin will be done after this season. Ferentz will be done after the year after, or if not bought out next season, we'll see what happens with that. Grab will be here for I think he's only on a 1 year deal right now, so he might be gone. But then we obviously have Nurse coming up. We have Lalegia coming up. We have Davidson potentially coming up. I guess we'll see how his 1 year deal goes. If Schultz proves himself this year, he'll be there for a while. Um, maybe we don't know that either. But
Maybe, yeah.
there's a number of players who could potentially join that core, where Clefbaum would then be one of the central components of, with Clefbaum and Nurse and Sakara being the big three, obviously. Um, Other than that, I don't think I can talk to myself anymore, or I guess not to myself, but by myself. So, Arun, did you
No,
figure out?
man, you got it. You got it.
All
Like,
right.
talk, like, put your like hat on and off like a few times, like jazz hands.
I don't need any more cartoony stuff. Is there anything else that we haven't
Hello, my
covered?
baby. Hello, my
Oh
honey.
God, I
Hello, my
can't.
goddamn pal.
I don't think you said that right.
Nah, I didn't say that right.
We need
Oh,
we
it's like it's a finger. It's a finger.
like a foamy finger.
Like it's a finger. Hold on.
I don't know.
What the
I
frick?
don't know what that means. What is it like a foamy finger? You staring at the screen doesn't really help me much, bud. Okay, okay, I'm just. We need James so badly, so badly. Okay, you gonna explain it all, Maroon? Maroon? I guess.
I
I
put it
guess
in
not.
the comments, and I'm gonna send it to you on Facebook. You know what? You need it. You need this on stream. You need this on stream. This needs to happen.
All right.
You need this on stream. You need this on stream. This needs to happen. I need to see this. The people need to see this, Adam. Is this showing up on stream right now? Like, make
Yeah.
sure it's like, okay, all right.
I don't. I don't know what to make of this.
I don't either. I think it's an indication. Like we can look at the subtleties of this in that the journal, Edmonton Journal, secretly wants to finger McDavid.
That's McDavid. I. Oh, okay. That was interesting.
That's interesting.
That was that.
Professor
Yeah.
Scribble says, "My only question is why." Yeah, they're rebranding. Like it's a totally different journal today, and
I,
it's supposed to be a totally different journal from now on. Where like they're not making enough money, so they've like combined with like the National Post.
I don't know. All it is. I don't know anything about Edmonton news, but it's better than the Ottawa Sun, so that's all I care about.
All right. So I think that brings us to the end of what we were talking about.
Yeah, we definitely
Hopefully, the
stretched
Clef
out.
Bomb details come out soon, and I
Oh,
hope everyone enjoyed our random video.
parting question. What's your guess for
Yes,
AAV?
I'm gonna guess 4.1.
Should we make a bet on it?
Oh, we're making bets now?
Yeah.
Shit, dude, I'm poor.
No. So if
Okay.
if I'm right on AAV, you have to grow your mustache out until the next podcast. And
Okay.
if you're right or whoever's closest without going over, I won't get a haircut.
Oh,
I
okay.
won't
It's
wear my
on.
hat. I
It's
won't wear
on.
my hat next time. All right. So I think it's 4.4. And who closest without going over?
I'm gonna go with a 4.1. You can't see chat, can you, Adam?
See what which no I can't.
No, he can't see chat. Isn't that a shame?
Oh god.
All right, we'll take the bet then. Shake on it.
Are we doing this? Okay.
Shake,
Okay.
shake,
So
shake. Okay.
I won't wear a
And
hat next time.
Professor Scribble says, 4.1 leaked per Ryan Richard.
God fucking
Don't take
damn it.
that bet. He's deceiving you.
You fucking prick. I'm getting a haircut tomorrow. I'm getting a haircut just to spite you. You
No,
suck.
no, it's coming
You
out. It's
no
coming
screw
out.
screw
It's
you.
Ripperino.
Go screw
Ripperino,
yourself.
it's Dunzo.
Ugh,
Oh,
I
I just
fucking
screwed.
hate you so much.
All right,
We're
that's
cut.
been the
That's it. I'm
podcast.
done. I'm done with you. I don't want to see your face. I'm done.
That's been the
See you guys next
podcast.
time.
My name is Arunatic5. That is Adam, also known as Sweet. And this has been the podcast.
I hate you
We're
so
happy
much.
to have you. Number 6. Focus on training camp and shit. See you in a week or 2 weeks' time. All right, then. Peace.